Hi, this is Jack Slocum with Option Alpha. This here is a follow-up video on my recent video about how to trade earnings strategically, some lessons learned. We're going to go through that process here in a minute, but before I do, I wanted to jump in and make a trade here in Trade Ideas. As promised, all the trades in this account will be live on this show, so I saw one I wanted to make. I'm going to make that trade real quick, and then we're going to jump in and talk a little bit about the lessons learned from the earnings trades that I made. All four of them turned out to be a max loss. Before we do that though, I'm going to go ahead and make a trade here. I have clicked on bear up here. Over the last few days, the market has went up pretty significantly, and I don't think it can continue that way. I am a bit bearish on this market. This is my own pick though. I just want to tell you guys, do not follow me blindly. As you will see later, all four of my earnings plays from the last video have all lost. I recommend using your own discretion. I'm just kind of sharing the trades that I'm making. We'll see how that goes. I want to learn as I go, share the lessons that I learned with you, and hopefully we'll all get better together as traders through this learning experience. So I've selected bear here. I'm going to set my DTE to 21 days or less. And I did see a symbol I was liking earlier that was producing some pretty good trades, EFA. And let's see what we got here. This was one of the ones that I was excited to get. So one of the things I was looking at, let me show you on this particular symbol, EFA. If we look at the May 17th, you'll see the max pain point in this chart is actually 76.50. And one of the ideas that I had moving forward was, if the max pain is 76.50, if I sell a short call spread above that max pain point, will that actually produce profitable trades? The idea is that the most options will expire worthless at that max pain point, and the closer it gets to that expiration date, the more likely the stock price is to be at that max pain point. So the spread I'm looking to trade here is actually at the 78 price point, and the reward risk ratio is 117% with the probability of max profit above 51%. So if you watched any of the earlier videos, this is that weighted coin flip that's weighted in my favor. And now I have this other data point that the max pain point, the place where most option prices will expire worthless, is also below that short strike, giving me another little piece of data to include in my calculation. So I'm going to go ahead and make this trade. As stated in earlier videos, we're going to try to stay somewhere around $500 per trade. Looks like we're about there. I'm going to allow this to go to slightly beyond the mid price, so we'll say 26 cents. Still has my reward risk at 108%. Risk is somewhere around 500. Let's go ahead and allow it to go slightly above. We're going to put this in my manual trading bot, and I'm going to go ahead and place this trade immediately. And boom, we just got filled at 26 cents. So let's go ahead and take a look at the math here. I have a 51% chance of taking down a profit of $546 and a 39% chance of losing $504. I'm very excited to start using that max pain point in some of my trades, and the idea is to sell trades where the max pain point is below the short strike price and see how that does over time. So let's go ahead and jump into this review of these earnings trades. Let me come over here. If we take a look at my close positions, you'll see the V Iron Condor here. I actually was able to close it for 6 cents shortly after the earnings announcement. The next day, Visa went down a bit, and even though it was about $8 still out of the money, I was able to get 6 cents for the contracts. I went ahead and took the 6 cents. I mean, it was one day until expiration. It was $8 out of the money, and I pretty much figured I could get 18 bucks. I might as well take it, so I did. This other BA Iron Condor actually was exercised and closed at a max loss. The other two positions are set to expire after the close today. Both will also be a max loss. So the overall profit and loss on the four options trades that I made manually in the last video was $894 in the red. Not too happy about that. So that caused me to take a look and see, why exactly did this happen? What was I analyzing? What did I do wrong? And how can I improve as a trader when trading earnings announcements? As they say, hindsight is 20/20. I took a look at the decision-making process I used to make those trades, and I immediately saw some problems with what I was doing. If we come into the earnings tool itself, we take a look at some other trades. So let's say we look at PayPal here, for example. And we come over here. What I was looking at is I was seeing, oh, look, it has these 4 outliers to the downside. And then I was like, well, there's a chance that it could have another outlier. And so then I placed a bet in which I needed an outlier. And so this is kind of one of the risks of buying long options, and something I learned a long time ago not to do. But for some reason, I decided to do it. And my result was 3 out of the 4 positions I opened were all long positions, and they all expired completely worthless. If we take a look at this stock, which actually has 4 or 5 moves that are outliers to the downside, that's still only 20 to 25%. So what that means is I took 3 long positions where each of them had approximately a 20% chance of actually producing a profit. And if I do that consistently over time, I'm going to be a loser, guaranteed. I'm looking to get lucky in that scenario. But if I do the opposite, which is I give someone else the opportunity to get an outlier against me, and I trade enough of those consistently over time, well, if they only get lucky 20% of the time, and I trade, say, 10 of them, then that means 8 of them will be profitable and 2 of them will be max losses. Which means if I can get a certain reward to risk ratio, if I could get 100%, that would be amazing, and that's going to be a profitable strategy over time. So what we did is we added this little side box in the platform so we can quickly see what type of opportunities are available. And if you look here, you can select to see the opportunities that are available that are out the money by the average move in 1 day, which is this value right here, or the expected move, which is the value up here. So let's go ahead and try to use this right now. I haven't actually planned this out. I'm going to make these trades on the fly using the tool. We'll see how we do the second time around. I'm not going to place 4 trades this time. I'm going to place potentially 2. The plan here is to completely switch strategies. Before, I was betting on long shot outliers, and I needed the stock to make a parabolic move in the direction I had picked in order to make money. And what I'm doing instead here is saying, okay, it's okay if 1 or 2 or even 3 of these stocks make parabolic moves against me and I take a max loss, as long as I'm getting a certain reward to risk ratio. And the reward to risk ratio I'm going to be looking for is 100% or higher. So this way, if, for example, 3 stocks cause a max loss, that would be minus $300. And if 7 of them do not cause a max loss and I get a max profit, that would be plus $700, in which case my net profit would be $400. So we're going to go ahead and look for some stocks that don't have a lot of outlier moves that are still offering greater than 100% reward risk ratio. I'm not sure PayPal is my choice here. It does seem to have some pretty big moves. If I was to put it outside the average move, which is 9%, which is a giant move, you can see here I'm not actually getting 100% anymore. I can click on this though and adjust this a little bit and see how close would I have to come in order to get my reward to risk ratio around 100%. So how far out of the money is this? This is about 7.7% on one side and 7.4% on the other side in order to get somewhere near this 100% reward to risk ratio. I'm going to look for another stock real quick. So let's get out of PayPal here, come in, take a look at some other stocks here which may have a smaller chance of outlier moves. So if we look here, we can see what the average move is in a single day. So I went with PayPal here, which has a history of giant moves, and it actually has a pretty good sized move priced in as well. But let's take a look and see if we can find one with a smaller, I don't know who this Lilyco is. That's a giant outlier move though. Let's see if we switch this over to expected move. Reward to risk is only 63% on that one. Coca-Cola is pretty stable stock. think 3M is going to have anything too drastic, but look at all these outlier moves. I don't really want to bet against that too much unless we're going to get, wow, look at that reward to risk ratio. Is that actually accurate? 350%. Only out of the money by 2%. See, if we were to put a little bit more out of the money, what kind of math would that look like? Only 75%. All right, so let's get out of there. This one has a pretty good expected move priced in. You can see the average move here of 4.95%. It's not really producing a lot of big outliers. Still has a decent sized move priced in. This one might be our first trade. 185%. That looks pretty good. This bid-ask spread is huge. Let's see if what it will take in order to get filled. Let's see. If we were to go to 56 cents, we would get an even 100%. 57 cents on this wide spread. Let's see if we were to do 15. How many contracts? 11 contracts. I'll do the earnings bot. Let's go ahead and see if we can get filled somewhere between 65 and 57 cents. So right now, smart pricing is working through these prices. Hopefully it'll get me filled somewhere in the middle here. It would be great to get an even better reward risk ratio on this trade. That is surprising. It does not look like we're going to get filled even down at 57 cents. Let's cancel this. I'll take one more stab at 56 cents and then we'll go look for something else. 5.6. I'm going to turn smart pricing off. And boom, it did get filled at 56 cents. So I've altered my strategy. I'm now betting that an outlier will not occur. This particular position has an excellent reward to risk ratio. You see here I got a $616 credit. My max loss is $484. I'm betting that the stock will stay within the 100 and 108 range. Hopefully that'll work out. We only have a few minutes until the market closes, so let me go ahead and hurry up and get another trade in here. However, if I don't see another opportunity here, I'm not going to force it. I'm actually trading a little early anyway. I prefer to make these trades on Monday after the weekend, so I'll look at some of these other ones and see if I can get a good reward risk ratio. Look at McDonald's here. Does not have a history of outliers, but I can still get a 100% reward risk ratio. This looks like a great opportunity. And I'm going to go ahead and take it. So what are we at here? 150. So if I was to come in and say at 138, I'd still be getting 123% reward risk ratio. I like it. There we go. Select my earnings bot and place this trade. Man, I thought for sure that 138 was going to get filled. These wide bid-ask spreads are tough. So when volatility is high, market makers are going to extend the size of the bid-ask spread, and sometimes it can get hard to get filled. Look at that. Look how much has changed since I placed that trade. It's pretty shocking. Let's see, if I was to come in at 126, what would my reward risk ratio be? 101 then. We can go ahead and see if we can get filled somewhere around there. Still getting greater than 100%, which is what I'm looking for. Smart pricing, boom, gets me 131. Amazing. I got a 524 credit for this one, and my total capital at risk is $476, which is roughly 110% reward risk ratio. So I placed two trades today, completely shifting strategy, and I went from betting on these outliers to instead betting that the outliers are not going to happen. Now, I can't promise that these positions are going to win, and like I said, do not follow me blindly. So that's it for today's video. If you got anything from this video, don't forget to like it. On behalf of the OA team, we love you guys. God bless.